Welcome to the Cobos Insurance Matt Report, pinch hitting for Sean Bennett, Ron Polinsky, alongside Rocco Nucci with WEOL, as once again we are pleased to bring you the Cobos Insurance Wrestling Report, the Matt Report. Last week, it was the Lorain County League duels again, the LC8 duels. Keystone has continuing an outstanding year, Rocco. They defeated Columbia and Firelands easily. Columbia 59-24, Firelands 54-16. For the Keystone Wildcats now, they moved their mark to 4-0 in the Lorain County League, and overall this season, an outstanding record of 9-1 in duels. They are the head of the Lorain County League so far.
Yeah, the Wildcats premier the class right now with the Lorain County League wrestling competitions, and later on in the WEOL radio recap show for wrestling, we'll be talking, myself and Tom Evans, pinch hitting for Sean Bennett in that show. We'll be talking to Coach Chris Vondrusko over there at Keystone. Very excited with how his Wildcats are performing so far this season. He's done really well taking over a program with a lot of history, a lot of great people involved with that program. So they, as always, very fun to watch this year.
And I think one of the wrestlers he'll be talking to you and Coach Evans about will be sophomore Devin Mayer. He had an outstanding tournament. He had 2 falls over Firelands' Vinnie Hicks and Columbia's Cody Tucker. And for Keystone's Devin Mayer, the sophomore, now an outstanding 6-2 record this season. In the Greater Cleveland Conference, it's more of the same as the Elyria Pioneers continue to cruise. They went to Brunswick. They won 68-12. The Pioneers had 6 pins in that match, and getting pins for the Pioneers were Riley Banez at 106, Colin Noel at 113 pounds, Peyton Fenton at 120. At 132, it was Connor Burns, 145, Nick Burnett, and at 152 pounds, Eric Trinsky. All 6 of those Pioneers with pins over the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and you notice the amount of wins there for the Pioneers, but that doesn't matter for Elyria coach Eric Burnett, as he will always harp on whenever you talk to him. It's not about just wins and losses with his program. It's about development, seeing kids getting better, gaining confidence, not just becoming better athletes, but better young men in the process, and that is certainly being accomplished this year, as always, with that Elyria program.
And then on Saturday, Avon Lake had a tough day as they lost 2 duels. They lost to Cloverleaf 42-25, and then Buckeye rolled over Avon Lake 69-6. But in that, Avon Lake had 2 young men that each had 2 wins on the day. At 160 pounds, Lucas Marconi, and at 120 pounds, Michael Valerino. They both went 2-0 for the Shoremen, but it was a tough day for them.
They salvaged something. What else can you really say in a day like that?
So there were many more matches to be contested, but again, with COVID situation, tournaments are getting canceled, duels are getting canceled, so that was the bulk of the activity last week. It's time now to tell you about our Century 21 Mike Deanna Realty Wrestler of the Week. And if you're paying attention to the beginning, I think you know who it's going to be. Let's give that to sophomore Devin Mayer from Keystone. Again, his record now is 6-2. Rocco, 2 matches, 2 pins. You can't do any better than that.
No, you can't, Rob. No, you can't. So I think he's certainly deserving of that award this week.
We want to remind our viewers that once again the WEOL wrestling show will be Wednesday night. Again, as Rocco told you, that'll be with himself and with Tom Evans. And here's Rocco Nucci to tell you about what's going on in wrestling for this week.
Well, Thursday, the 21st, again this week in the Lorain County League, Black River, Firelands, and Columbia will all be at Wellington. That's a good event there. Clearview, Oberlin, and Brookside all at Keystone. We'll see if the Wildcats can continue to roll this season. In the SWC, still on this Thursday, Amherst and Midview over at Avon Lake. Westlake will be at North Ridgeville in a duel. That should be a lot of fun. I know Sean Bennett's been very passionate about these duels making a comeback in high school wrestling. The GCC, Elyria, and Medina will battle one another, and in the Lake Erie League, it will be Lorain and Warrensville Heights at Garfield Heights. Looking ahead quickly here to Saturday in non-conference action, Lorain, Elyria will both be at the Cy Pinter duels. That one is at Elyria. Columbia will battle Holy Name. Firelands, Seneca East, Willard, Gibsonburg, and Cary will all be at Toledo. Woodmore, Vermilion will be at the Archbold duels. And the Cobos Classic over there in Avon Lake, a bit smaller this year, will be my first year getting to kind of experience that event. But Avon Lake, Amherst, Wellington, Medina, Brunswick, Bay, and St. Ed's, again, all at that Cobos Classic. In the SWC, Berea Mid-Park will be at Midview. And that concludes our upcoming schedule for this week.
Yeah, it's great to see that the Cobos Classic is being held at Avon Lake, albeit a little bit smaller than it is in years past, but it's one of the annual events that everybody looks forward to, our wrestling fans, coaches, everybody that's involved, the wrestlers themselves. I know they can't have it as big as they wanted, but I'm just pleased that they can have the Cobos Classic this weekend in Avon Lake. That's big for our area.
It's kind of the name of the game right now with sports in general, not just wrestling. Things may be having to be done different, perhaps on a smaller scale, less teams, what have you, but things are still getting done. We're having events, we're having athletics, and that's all that counts at the end of the day.
That really is. So thanks again, Rocco. That's going to just about do it for us. Hopefully next week Sean Bennett will be able to return and tell you about all the results from this week, tell you what's heading on next week as we continue to get closer and closer to the second season, to that tournament season. It'll be here before you know it. But for Rocco Nucci, this is Rob Polinsky once again. Thanks for watching the Cobos Insurance Mat Report.